Hello and welcome. I'm Johnny. I'm a principal software engineer. I code around the world and inspire others to do the same. Hopefully, I inspire you to take it to the next level in tech, make your first steps in tech, anything like that. So long as there are more brilliant minds in tech, I'm happy because that's where I am and I can use the company. I've taken a quite long sabbatical over the summer to raise my pup, get married, have a lovely holiday through Europe and especially Greece. It's been amazing, but now I'm excited to be back with you live streaming. And for today, we have a real treat, something I haven't done before. I'm gonna attempt to do a live coding challenge. I'm gonna take Hired.com's Fullstack assessment live, so you can see maybe a principal software engineer get stumped from these pub trivia style questions that I don't really rate in the interview process, but most companies still do them regardless, because they don't really know how to accurately assess candidates otherwise. I value soft skills a lot. I value pair programming, being able to communicate, showing initiative, all those things much more than how good you are at MapReduce and all those things. I think all those things are Googleable. Like if you have someone pairing with you, they can help you out. Google can help you out with that. So it's a bit of a, trick skill. It looks cool, but not that important. In any case, I'm quite good at them, for better or for worse, so I usually do well in these challenges. So maybe I'll just get glory today by being awesome at this challenge, but maybe not. Let me know in the comments and in the live chat how you're doing. Are you doing well? Did you have a long sabbatical as well? Did you have a vacation at all? I hope you're having a lovely weekend, regardless, and a lovely day. We have the agenda here, which is explaining what we're doing today. So after the long sabbatical, I'm not particularly looking for permanent roles, but who knows? And I've gotten roles through Hired.com quite a few times. Last time must have been like 3 or 4 years ago when I joined Supla as a principal software engineer. And lots of big companies go through Hired.com. And the interview process through Hired is quite good. They give you like the salary ranges. Usually you can put in your remote willingness or in-office willingness, your various things you can put, whether you need visa or sponsorship, but this is not paid by Hired to tell good things there. So I won't talk about the platform much more. I've been in the platform as a recruiter as well as an interviewer as well. I've created some challenges for Hired or for my company to have in Hired and have potential candidates to go through, which again, I don't rate, but some companies really want that. So I try to help out there. I know that they have some features like seeing how many times you copy paste and how many times you unfocus the window, which may be used as an indicator that you copy paste or you went to Google to find the answer, which I think it's good. If you can Google it and copy paste it, then that was a bit of a silly question. And in reality, you'll get the ticket done, you'll get the code done, even if you manage to do that. I don't think it's better if you can do it with like pen and paper or on a whiteboard without Googling anything. But in any case, I don't know if this full stack challenge that gives you a badge in the end if you do well enough actually shows those stats, whether I've unfocused or whether I've copy pasted or whatever. I do remember that the editor that they have in Hired is quite bad, so it's not Code Sandbox or StackBlitz or anything so advanced, but maybe they've improved it. I used to like coding in VS Code or Code Sandbox, because Prettier, I'm so used to it. I'm so used to formatting my code through Prettier, and if I have a syntax error, Prettier will let me know that there's something wrong there because it won't format. And of course, my IDE does have superpowers that I do not, so I am willing to let my editor do a lot of the work for me, while Hired's editor doesn't do anything. In any case, I don't know if I'll do it in the Hired platform or not, but we are about to find out. I guess I went through what we're doing. I don't know if those badges actually help. I think your salary range and your availability counts more than, and your actual CV, the companies you've been to and the roles you had count more than having the Hired badge. But who knows, maybe I do this and then, suddenly companies are willing to pay me millions and millions of dollars just for a quick contract or a short role. permanent role. That's by the by. Let's have some fun by doing some code. So let's get to it. So do let me know if you like this. We may do like the backend challenge or the frontend challenge, maybe even the iOS Android challenge. I don't know about the debugging challenge or what's that, DevOps. This one, I did do the programming skills one. I did do like 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. I don't even remember how long ago. And I did finish it in like 5 minutes. But I've also gotten stumped in a question like this in the past. So it's a bit of the roll of the dice. There is like a lot of recursion. Sometimes my mind gets like blocked and it's hard to get unstuck, especially since I forgot to bring my coffee now. So I don't know if we'll actually need around 90 minutes or we'll breeze through it or we'll just run out of time, but we will find out. Hopefully this button works. I haven't clicked it before. And I'm not sure if I get the same questions every time I try. I remember on the programming one, you sometimes get different questions. Right, so 30 minutes of multiple choice programming, 1 hour. There's a simple test. I don't really want it. And I promise to answer questions without help from anyone. So chat, if you want to help me out, feel free. But I have promised to not get help from you right here. I will remain in the session until this is complete. All right, excited. Loading indicator. All right. Ugh. So this is like Python, I guess. Fibonacci. All right, so for the 0 Fibonacci number, you just return null. For the first, you return 0. For the second, you return 1. And then you need to do some recursion to figure out how to get the Fibonacci number. Interesting. So you pass it through this method. And the Fibonacci number is this number plus the previous number and the previous number. So maybe like that's the only one that I see that's like previous and previous, -1, -2. So probably that's the one. You can't go back. High stakes. Click here. So, database architecture, single write node acting as the leader and multiple read nodes acting as followers. I like that they're not using the master-slave terminology here. And I think it is difficult to significantly scale write capacity. You just have the one node to write, so that may lead to some locking or something. So I'll put that one. Drawback of microservice architectures. I don't think increased network latency is that big. Like if you have microservice talking to each other, you do have a bit of network latency, but it's usually like backend to backend fast operations. So I don't think they want that. I think they mean becomes harder to enforce interfaces between subsystems. If you have them in different repositories, even though you can use a monorepo to deploy microservices, then and you don't have like a GraphQL server or something, then enforcing the interfaces becomes tricky. Like you need to implement a solution like GraphQL to make that happen. So it is harder, but what is harder and what is easier? I don't know. Just pick this one. I'm querying. Right, you're requesting a to-do that does not exist. You get the 0 to-do, should be 404. Can't find it. In Python, why would it use an iterative approach? So it's full stack talents, and I guess they're like backend means Python. You're doing machine learning there. I don't know what you're doing, but you better know some Python. Recursion doesn't benefit from optimization is wrong. Recursion doesn't allow you to alter global states. That's up to you. I don't know if Python has something. Recursion typically uses more memory than iteration. What? Recursion is often more declarative. I'm between those. I wouldn't say recursion typically uses more memory, although we had the Fibonacci example before, where depending on how you do it, you may actually be using a lot of memory because you may be incorrectly recalculating the method every time. So it could, but is it typical? And declarative. Not sure how to answer this. I'll do this. Oh, symmetric encryption is typically faster than asymmetric encryption. TLS, that helps with the green padlock. TLS uses both symmetric and asymmetric encryption. Symmetric encryption allows users with a shared secret to securely exchange information across insecure mediums. That sounds very wrong. In public key cryptography, data is encrypted using a private key and signed with a public key. Is that correct, or the other way around? I think that's correct, so I'll use this one. Consider that URL. You want to access the URL at port lit. It's probably this one. Port lit. Like Google doesn't implement connecting through different ports. That's like, you've seen it on localhost. That's how you connect to a specific localhost port. You're working on a video sharing site. How do you know? And have stored the data in an SQL database. You have two tables, videos, all uploaded videos, comments, all comments with a video ID. One-to-many relationship. You want to find all the videos with at least 5 comments. Interesting. This is like SQL code. That's query language. It feels like you need to query the comments table. And yeah, we can't group by video ID, I guess. Because I don't think the count video ID is like a real thing. I think you need to group, and then that count means something. So I'll go for this one. Oh, complexity answer. Well, notation. No index on the table. Am I doing well? Who knows? So select star from users where email is this. What's the asymptotic time performance of this query for a random email address in relation to the numbers of users? So there is no index. So how long will it take? It's just an equality check. So it should be however many you have. I think it's ON. Just however many you have. There's like one loop, not many loops. What will get printed out? So that's a console log problem. So the number is 24, and then you set a timeout for this, but it will happen on the next tick, even though the timeout is 0. Well, maybe because the timeout is 0, it will happen on the next tick, and it will log the number. The number outside of the timeout is 24, but by the time it runs on the next tick, it's 5. None of these. Interesting. Yeah, you never know. Like, is there other code hiding here? Maybe. but this should be fine. Given an array of numbers, which one-liner would return an array with only the even numbers? Should be a filter, surely. And then they're doing the modulo operator. So if dividing by 2 leaves you with 0, it's an even number. But 0 itself is falsy, so I think it should be this. So dividing, like the modulo of your A array item by 2, if it's 0, then it's even, so it will filter for when this is truthy. This is what we want. Consider this code. How would you store the fruit of Kyle's sweat? What a name. In a variable Kyle fruit? What? Right, so this is a template literal. That's kind of the trick. It's not an array. I think it's valid JSON. I don't see any trailing columns, and they have like the double quotes and stuff. So I do think you need to parse the data and then get the first item, which is 0, and get the fruit from there. This should be it. If it's more JavaScript-y question, clearly I'm doing better. I don't know about the others. Weight of the following does not declare a function that returns a numeric input incremented by 1. Yeah, so this one is not a fat arrow immediate return. You'd need like the brackets make it so this returns nothing. It returns undefined. You're using Git. Cute. Oh, they still say master brands. I commented them before by saying leader follower instead of master slave, but now they're using the master brands. Should be main. So I think it should be git replace origin master, but I guess you have the master brands already pulled. So yeah, so this would result in a merge commit, I guess. Git replace origin master is what they want. When storing user credentials, how can you remove their security vulnerabilities resulting from different users having the same password? There is a security vulnerability, I'm not sure. Add a random value to its password. Enforce a unique password policy. How can you remove the security vulnerabilities resulting from different users having the same password? Is that a real thing? Is there a security vulnerability if everyone is like Hunter 2? Do you just go to the other ones? Like in my database, I should know. It should be one-way decryption, encryption. One-way encryption. You cannot decrypt it. So I should know that they have the same password anyway. So I would know that. So this is clearly wrong because at the database level, the database doesn't store the real password. It stores a hash value. Yeah, I'm not sure what answer they want, but I suspect, yeah, if you do that, then no password would ever work. I would say this doesn't matter because passwords are encrypted. All right, it won't tell me whether I did well or not. I hope I did well, chat. But I do have 1 hour to solve 2 coding questions. And it looks like JavaScript, so we're good. Tim had a summer intern who didn't quite finish the big intern project, and now it's up to you to get the project completed and deployed. Unfortunately, tests are failing for the implementation of the merge sort function. Debug their function so the tests pass. Can I do JavaScript? Can I do TypeScript? No. So what's the spec? Merge sort. My dog Summer is snoring and sleeping. If you can't hear it, it's quite cute. So the solution is a method. How do I run the test cases? And this returns nothing. So is this the one that's failing? Who knows? So this is nothing. Like you give it an array, and what do you do? Merge sort. I think the solution should return like the merge sort array, I guess. And then we can debug whatever that person did wrong. All right, so the first test case, it gets a 9674 blah, blah, blah. And it expects to get 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 6, 7, 7, 7, blah, blah, blah. Fair enough. So there must be a bug here. If the length of the array is 1 or less, 1 or 0, you just return it. Or else it finds the middle of the array and does what? Not sure. Test case 1. So it works for these numbers too. What does merge mean? It seems this is just sorting, right? Why is it merge sort? Like you have 3 2s, so you get 2, 2, 2, blah, blah, blah. Why is this not just sort? Should it just be like array sort? I don't know what this means. Like let's just return. Let's say a clone of that array. Maybe that's what they mean, that they don't want to like mutate or something. Let's just sort this. What happens? All right. So the first one happens to be correct, I suppose. And the second one, not, because it's sorting them as if they were numbers. Are these not numbers? So now they're numbers. If I sort them, do I get anything different? Well, I should say now they're definitely numbers. So interesting. Sometimes they're numbers, sometimes not. I guess that's the tricky part. Right. So actually, let's map its element. Should I be mapping its element? Maybe not. Right, so let's just do the cloning thing. I'm just thinking, like, is it more efficient to just map everything or not? But they probably want it to be as like the array should be the same type of value. So let's just sort it. Sort. I have A, I have B. I don't have the shortcuts that I like. And look, I need to do some parsing if needed. Type of A. That's how it works, right? Yeah. Number. So already a number, just use A, or else parse int A. Maybe it's a float, I don't know. Like there is no spec. And then, do I need to do like minus the other one? Probably. But do the same thing. Just type checks and quality checks, so it should be the same. No multi-cursor select here. Alright, let's see in which order this results. Yeah, the opposite order. I was afraid of that. So let's do B first and subtract the other one. Merge. Why is it called merge sort? How did I arrive to the same result? Ah, should return it. Let's return it in a cool way. It's so hard to see the highlight. Alright, so I was probably right the first time. It should be A minus B. Alright, tests are passing. Like, if they have hidden tests that are like floats, if they give me floats, then they should have told me in the spec. It says debug their function so the test pass. The test pass? What do you want from me? Like, if this was like... Ah, should be an array of integers. Interesting. But that's not true, because in these test cases, surely they're given some strings. That's why it didn't work before, right? Or is it just that the default sort does it for strings? So if I were to simplify this, let's do A minus B without doing the type check. This is just happy. Yeah, huh. Just the default sort pretends that everything's a string. Didn't know that. Cool. Cool beans. Right, so kind of a one-liner thing. But what's the merge? Why are they doing all of this? Merge sort. Because you don't need this, right? Like everything they wrote is useless. I don't know where the merge part comes in though. That's my worry. So yeah, this is the summer intern job done in a one-liner. That's what they needed to do all summer, and they didn't do that. Couldn't quite get to it. All right. Next. Given an array of integers, return an array containing the integer that occurs the least number of times. If there are multiple answers, return all possibilities within the resulting array sorted in ascending order. Didn't we touch this? When no solution can be deduced, return an empty array. Alright, given an array of integers, return an array containing the integer that occurs the least number of times. We need to iterate through the whole of the array. So I guess we could do a neat reduce here. So numbers to occurrences. Hopefully that's spelled correctly. And we can say that this is numbers reduce the accumulator and then the number. And the accumulator starts as an empty object. This is a great place for TypeScript, by the way, but we can do it. Right. If accumulator number, if no accumulator number, or we'll definitely return the accumulator in the end. That's for sure. And here, yeah, we can just say accumulator number equals if it exists, then it's gonna be itself plus 1. If not, it's gonna be 1. Yeah, sure. And is that the correct way to go about it? Maybe, but we have a lot of time to solve this, so we'll figure it out. We may optimize this. Yes, and also this is a point where someone might tell you mutation is bad, but blanket mutation is not bad. If you know what you're doing, it's fine. We're creating like a new object here. So this accumulator is brand new. Its only purpose is to exist in this function and then give us like a result. So mutating it here is fine. It's not gonna affect the rest of your app or your other methods or whatever. So some people may tell you mutation is bad, don't do this. Those people are wrong, but be kind in explaining to them your reasoning. Right, in any case, this should give me a list, like an object that has each number that was in the array, according to the amount of times it appeared. So after we have this, can actually reduce again, reduce this object. Object entries. So we can object entries So sorted numbers is this, but I won't know the occurrences here. So sorted numbers to occurrences. This is going to be an array, and I want to sort it, and I want what do I want? This should be compared against the B number, the B occurrences. So I guess I only want the occurrences here. When no solution can be deduced. So it should always be deduced unless the array doesn't have any elements. So if numbers length if no numbers length, return empty array. Or I guess let's do the same trick as before. If it's less than 1, then you return the numbers array. So that's the only one you have, or else you'll be able to deduce something. Then we do the reduce trick, and now I want to sort this. And I think I found that it should be A minus B to sort it nicely. And now I should have an array that's the numbers and occurrences sorted correctly. So I want to see, like, if the first number appears like once, that's the one I want. But if the second number also appears once, then I want to bring that as well. So let's see. So the list appearances should be a number. Should be the number that's in this sorted array. It should be in the first element, the second item, right? So can I just get it like this? So the first element of this array, the second item. The comma makes me go to the second item immediately. And what I want to return is sorted numbers occurrences, reduce. Again, I will have an accumulator here and number to occurrence, like number to count. Let's call it occurrences again. And this time my accumulator is going to start with the empty array. And I'm going to say if so this is going to be number and occurrence count. Occurrences count. If occurrences count is above list occurrences, then just return the accumulator and do nothing. But if not, then push to the accumulator that number and return the accumulator. So I guess we can do this the other way around. If the occurrence count is less or equal, or even though like it will never be less, should never be less. Then do the mutation. Once again, it's fine to do mutations if you know what you're doing. If you're not mutating something outside of the function, let's say. All right, so does this actually work? Expected output is 1, but the output is 1. Because I guess all the object keys are like strings, not numbers. So let's parse this int. Parse this int. Yeah, I should do a filter somewhere, but I'm not sure where. Should I reduce again? Probably not. Like I could, but I think that will make it even less readable. So I will just say, instead of doing this weird thing, get the first element, get the second element of the first element, and parse that int. So now that's a number, this is a number, and occurrences count should also be parsed here. And then oh no, that, all of those would always be numbers, sorry. So I can still do this. No need to parse into there. Sorry. What I need to parse is this. This is the key, which has become a string. You got me again. Okay, so let's run again. Fast. All right, here we go. Nailed it. So it looks like I'm great in practice, but maybe in theory, not as much. How big is this array they gave me? Quite big. I have an empty array as well, and an array of 1 just for the fun of it, but I guess the tricky one is this. Can we optimize something here? Maybe not. So we're doing this list of numbers versus their appearance count. And this goes through the whole array once, and then we go through the whole array again to sort it, and then we go through the sorted array again, so 3 loops there. But at least this final loop can be a no-op. So the moment, like, this is the optimization thing. So if we're already at a count that's higher than the list occurrences, which is going to be most numbers here, then we just break, I guess. Can we break out without this? Like, it's a no-op, but maybe we can break. I don't think we can break in this. So doing it like in a for-in loop, that could be more efficient. But I think that's a bit more readable, and people sometimes do flag this, like with ESLint or whatever, saying, oh, don't use for-in modern JavaScript. blah blah blah. And this is like quick equality check, so it should be fine. So not the most optimized thing in the world, but maybe good enough. So in our initial reduce, we could be keeping like a list of candidates the moment we encounter a number. So we encounter the number 10 and we're like, okay, our result, the possible result is 10 because it appears once. And then we encounter 941 and we're like, okay, the possible response is 941 and 10 because what? Because 941 also appears once. And then you get 13 and it's like, oh, the possible responses are 10, 941 and 13. 10, 13, 941. Because all of these appear once. But then you get the other 13 and you're like, okay, 13, you're out. Like whenever I see a 13, it's not gonna be a candidate response because it appears twice and I only want it to appear once. And then you get another 13 and you're like, okay, ignore this. And then you get 941 and you're like, aha, this is not gonna be a candidate. But I would need like a running tally of occurrences maybe a bit earlier. So I could say list occurrences is 1. And if it's already in the array, then I just get out. You could use like a set and see if that exists, I guess. But I'm not sure how much more efficient this would be. But if someone was looking at this solution, I'm sure there'd be a possible optimization opportunity there. Oh well. I think I will just press run once more, just to prove I haven't broken anything. Also, this sorting somehow works. So let's finish, I guess. And see how we did. More confident in this than the multiple choice. Yeah. Let's say that some of the multiple choice questions, I like that they ask you before you get your grade. Running viewer. All right, how did we do? Oh, 86%. So we missed 4 questions. I wonder which ones they were. But we did ace the programming one, which is nice. 96%. Not bad. I guess this means that we get a nice balance here. And we have like 3 days to like try again, I guess, but just release it. Yeah, don't want to do more attempts. Maybe we should have tried again until we get 100%, but hey, it's fine. All right, cool. Let me know, how interesting was this? Should I be talking more? Should I be talking less? And should I do the backend or front end or iOS or whichever one next? I think this is gonna be it for today though. I did have like in the bonus of the agenda potentially to keep going and do others, but I think it may take like more time to do. And for next time, it may be live coding until let's create a Patreon clone or a Linktree clone or a new portfolio website. As always, let me know what you'd like to see. I do real projects, so even if you are using your weekend or time of work to do a project like this, it is quite beneficial. It's not something that you cannot show your potential employer. Because if it's just a weekend project and no one is using it, it's not a real thing, it's not something that you can DM your Instagram friends and say, hey, I want to make a portfolio site for you. Then, even if you put it on your CV, some engineers are gonna scoff at it and say it doesn't count. So I try to do projects that you can do for real and impress your friends and potential employees, your interviewers. And that's why I did this one today. I don't expect to get hired through Hired, but maybe you want to try the challenge yourself. Give it a go after seeing this. I know a lot of companies do something like this, so I've been to places where there is another person, maybe 2 engineers in the room or in the call, and they just look at you. So you go through the programming challenges, and even if you ask, they say nothing, just dead silence. And there I am, like cracking dad jokes and saying how bad this process is, and still doing quite well. So it is possible to make it through even if you don't rate it. And if you get anxious about this, you know, I had a few stumbles, I had a few problems here. Even on the programming challenges where I got all through the test cases, there are a few things that an interviewer might see and say, oh, why didn't you catch this case? Whatever, what's the OI notation here? There are things that may stump me for a bit, because interviewing is something you can practice to do better, because the interviewing process for engineers is not good, especially because of that. It's not like real life where you show up, you have someone you can ask, you can snack. There are many more skills that you can have that will make you a better co-worker for me than whether you're able to read a reduce at the right. Even though that helps. But even if you can't read the reduce at the right, I'm there. I should be able to help you, and maybe add a comment that some people don't like adding code bases, but I think that's silly. And maybe name the variables a bit better. Maybe don't do a reduce and do 3 loops instead, because maybe the compiler will be optimizing this, so I don't need to optimize this. I just need to make it more readable. There are many scenarios there. Anyway, it's great to be back. I hope you had a lovely time watching me go through this. If you are interviewing, best of luck. If you're interviewing me and I ask you to go through this video instead of making me go through a live challenge, then thank you. Thanks for taking the time. Lots of interviewers just open the CV like 5 minutes before the meeting, before the interview is supposed to happen, and that's it. So thank you for taking the extra time to watch this live stream. That's about it. My cute dog is sleeping and snoring beside me, so I'm not gonna pull her up for the camera. Maybe next time. Until then, have a lovely weekend, have a lovely life. I'll see you around.